Welcome back to another episode of my trading vlog, where most of the views come from returning subscribers. If that's you, give yourself a thumbs up. If not, consider subscribing. I'm gonna get going here on SPY, AMC, GameStop, PLBY. Maybe I'll touch on the dollar. We'll see. Starting on the hourly time frame, no, the daily time frame on SPY. What I'm showing here is a corrective ABC move higher that I've been following for a while now. You can see I have it labeled kind of eccentrically. This A, B, and C. This would be, I think, at the minor degree. I think it's correctly labeled. And that the recent push higher has been wave C in that three-wave motion, leading to 436.48, that being the 100% target. And now we're starting to see the ETF turn around and start to head lower. And I think the momentum indicator, the MACD, is starting to reflect that as well. It looks like we've been up here at a pretty high level, about where we've seen reversals in the past. It's probably going to start seeing a bearish momentum change. Implied volatility is coming way down. It's the lowest it's been in a long time. It typically drops during corrective trends. So this corrective uptrend, I believe, is coming to an end shortly. It doesn't mean that we won't see SPY rally more in the future, but the indication here is that overall we're looking a little bearish. Reaching overbought on the RSI is typically not a bearish thing. What we see happen is the price set new highs as the RSI is reaching overbought, and that happens 1 to 3 times typically in a motive wave if we're going to push up higher. What we're looking at right now is a pretty strong hit of the RSI and overbought after it hasn't done so since the beginning of this corrective bounce. This tells me that we're probably at the top of this wave at this wave degree, and we're going to start going lower, and we're going to start testing these prior peaks at the tops of wave B and wave A. The most significant one is going to be at the top of wave A at the minor level, not the top of the minute wave B here. So 407.68, it becomes the bearish reversal level. There's a long way to go to get there, and the price is going to have to break through this downtrend first, which means that it's going to get very bumpy if we are going to see a bearish reversal here, which I personally think we are going to see. We could be drawing all sorts of triangles through here and whatnot, and I did a symmetrical triangle analysis through here, and the price target for that was 447, I believe. Let me just pull that up really quickly. I think I labeled it symmetrical triangle. Right, 447. So there could be a little more upside there. Whoa, that was way too close. At any rate, that's SPY. Looking for a reversal here now, at least coming down. And that might be a reactionary trend to wave C. I want to say more sideways grind before we see more upside. Let's go to GameStop and have a look at the daily time frame. Maybe we need to zoom in a little bit to make sense of those chart drawings. Big earnings flag broke down. And since then, we've seen a reactionary wave pushing higher, and then a couple of news events creating this next big dive, and then this flag through here, and the price is just languishing sideways, as I like to say. This is not what you want to see after a flag develops. It's not an upward breakout, not yet. If anything, it's starting to resemble more of a measured move down, in which case I'm going to have to start revising price targets, and maybe I'll do an Elliott wave count through here to help bring some clarity there. Bearish reversal coming in at probably around 23.80. I want to say before that I called that at probably 24.39. We've had just a little more sideways grind, so we're getting some more info through here. We could easily be seeing the development of a three-wave push lower, heading down to 20.80. Looks like we want to probably fill a gap down here on the daily time frame. Going into the candlestick chart to check that out. We didn't really quite fill all of these gaps. I don't think so. Let me just, where is the last gap? Oh, here it is. Yeah, we need to get back down to 1764 to really fill all the gaps to the downside, and the price is a long way from there, and this would be just ugly, but that's what happens. News sends these things higher, and then just everyday trading kind of brings it down. Looking at AMC, on February 27th, we set a significant high at 761, and the price since then has rejected and has been moving sideways. I think that this push down was motive, and we're in a corrective sideways grind for now. It's possible that this motive wave was wave A at the minute degree. Wave B was this funky three-wave bounce. And now we're starting to see the next measured move down form up at the minuet degree shown in blue with the target at 358. That will confirm as price passes below 450. This ABC structure, if it confirms passing below 391, the target becomes 270. Those $2 targets just keep on coming up. I can't get away from them. It's possible that we're going to see AMC go there. This is a nasty drop the last few days. We'd call this a vertical rundown in Bukowski chart pattern analysis, probably. There might be too much overlap between each candle, each couple of days. So not really quite that chart pattern, that candlestick pattern. Volume's been pretty high in the sell-off as well. Implied volatility peaked and is now starting to come down, which is interesting to me. So we can probably guess that this push was motive. Seeing the implied volatility stall out might indicate that we have a little bit of sideways grind before we finish this big move heading lower. This wave B I have, this could really be part of a larger pattern where we get a big flat through here, and then we'll see the price die. Very possible. If in that process we get above 515, we'll be confirming a double bottom at that point. And so I think that 515 level becomes our bullish continuation level, and 450 becomes bearish continuation. Overall, I think I've been much more optimistic on GameStop than AMC, and today was a pretty good example of that. GameStop on the daily time frame looking a little better than AMC and not falling quite as far. You can see the low set from yesterday was not broken, although the close was pretty much where the price opened yesterday. Not looking great for AMC and GameStop at the moment. I know it's not popular, but the prices go up and they go down. I'm not always going to say they go up because they don't always go up. Looking next at PLBY. This is my personal pick on a fundamental analysis. This has been a brutal drop from that 188 high we set on 6/16. I guess on the intraday it was 193. This was a big deal because we kind of broke out of this three-wave structure that occurred after this flagpole. This doesn't make any sense. These drawings don't make any sense on this time frame. Let's zoom in a little bit. And maybe I even clean this up. Let me take off some of these other lines. This looks a little better. I got to put this into a line chart too before I get going. Jeez, I don't know what time frame I drew these on, but we had a big push and we reached targets to the upside, and now we're seeing this big rejection down, and it looks a little hairy, doesn't it? At first there was some hope that we might actually see a bullish reversal on the intraday chart. Maybe I did that here. Yeah, on the drawing board. You can see that there is a falling wedge. We have 5 touch points. I believe this is actually wave C, which would make it an ending diagonal triangle. Let me label that really quickly. We'd be looking for waves A to the upside. Wait, wave B is going up, so wave A is down. So we had this big motive push higher. This would be actionary through here. And then there'd be a small correction down, and that would be wave A. This 3-wave bounce looks like wave B, and so this falling wedge, which per Bukowski's chart pattern analysis, you have to have 3 weeks past to qualify as a falling wedge, but I'm calling it an ending diagonal triangle. The reason why I'm doing that is because I think this is occurring in the right wave position, which is C, and the waveform between opposing trendline touches occurs in 3s. 1, 2, 3. This is kind of an awkward one through here. It's definitely not motive, so we can just say, hey, it's corrective. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then again, 1, 2, 3. When you have a succession of 3 waveforms in a converging pattern like this is an ending diagonal triangle in wave C or wave 5. We had an upward breakout. Price has since gone down. As long as we don't get below that 166 low that we set on the intraday chart, we could be seeing a bullish reversal. Of course, this is not great. We're going to have to get above this 174 level. This would confirm a double bottom, and we could see the price reverse at that point. But truly, we need to get above 193 for a nice surge higher up to the $3 range, which really could be on its way. I'm waiting for a very specific news event. We've had news on PLBY since June 1st, waiting for Honey Burdette and Lovers to be sold off and the balance sheet to be adjusted, the guidance from the company to be revised, and news to bring attention to the stock. I'm watching this closely. That 166 level, gotta hold 166. My cost basis is 168, so we're just barely above that. I'm really hoping to hold it. Let's go to the DXY, the dollar strength index. I've been noticing some movement there. On the daily time frame, let me zoom out a little bit. We had a big falling wedge, a push higher, and we came back down, we bounced, and we haven't passed above 105.908, which would be confirming a double bottom. Instead, we're moving sideways, probably going to be looking at some sort of triangle through here. Let me see if I can get a good blank chart. I'm just going to delete some of these drawings really quick. Clear drawing set. Yeah, get rid of them. Probably going to be drawing something like this. And so the dollar could be falling a little lower before we see a bounce, a consolidation sideways. I really think the next big move in the dollar will coincide with the next big move in the equities markets in general. ETFs like SPY or QQQ will reflect that. 1, 2, 3, looking for 4 and 5, and I think this breakout to the upside will be what pushes the equities into retracements where we get our bearish reversal, and we'll see if we don't find market bottom up here somewhere with the dollar before the dollar spills downward. Remember, these are big trends at play. This huge push up, this is a massive motive wave, big actionary trend, and it lasted about a year, over a year. This corrective trend is only probably halfway through. This really could be waves A. This triangle could be a horizontal triangle in wave B, and then we get our spill down, in which case we're looking for a market bottom in the near future. That being said, SPY looks super bullish, right? I still think we're going to come down. I really do. Just wait for it. Let's touch on SLV really quickly. SLV is coming down to a very important level of support and resistance at 2082. A lot of volume. We're going to have to watch that. MACD is crossing bearishly. But implied volatility is coming down in corrective trends. This is when you see the implied volatility drop. This has been reactionary to the big push higher that I forecasted. I'm serious. Like the price was at like $20 or $19. I said we were going to run at 24, and we did. This has just been the correction to that move. We could be waiting for a bigger push up. The dollar dropping would facilitate that. Again, I think that the dollar is moving sideways. We could see some sideways grind in SLV and GLD. These are equities that trade alongside the precious metals. Important critical support and resistance at 178.80. We're gonna need to hold that on GLD. So GLD and SLV are both gonna be just holding on for dear life, I think, for a little while. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla today coming down, peaking out at that 267 level. That's not too surprising. It's really not. We might get a topping pattern through here. I'm gonna get rid of some of these lines, and I think what I'm seeing here is a pretty clear chart pattern. This could be topping out pretty hard. I'm gonna try on candles. I'm gonna do it. Can I get some intraday? Oh, okay. Well, we don't quite have all the touch points. We might need to be just like a little generous with it and say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had that 5th touch point up here at C above that 267 level, starting to come down. If we get a downward breakout, the target's not too much lower at 243. There are some gaps to fill, of course. Waiting for Tesla just to reverse in general. Let's have a look at Nvidia while we're looking at tech stock. Bouncing above this 419 level is good if you're bullish. We could see an upward breakout to tag that 477 target before spilling downward. I want to say that this is an earnings flag. We've had a nice strong push. This is just a corrective phase and it's heading sideways. That's not bad at all. I also think that it could be wave 4, leading to one more wave heading higher for wave 5. Volume is still pretty high. You can see that implied volatility again right here. It's dropping. You see how implied volatility drops in corrective trends? That's the key right there. Watch that implied volatility and watch its correlation with the price. MACD here has come down to the bearish side of the indicator, below 0, but we could see a pull higher at this point. Kind of neutral. We're really kind of neutral on some of these things. Let's go look at Virgin Galactic. I was watching this. I did some analysis on it yesterday. There was a price target from the double bottom at 178 or 178%. That's between these two lows, confirming above that high at 493. And we tagged that level. Was that today? That was 6:15. We hit that. Interesting. I wonder what time frame I was on. It must have been on the daily time frame because it didn't look like we had hit it yet. That's why. It's on a larger time frame. Overall, I want to say this looks pretty good, coming down and touching that 537 and bouncing off of there. Looks like it's still going. It really does. Of course, the volume starting to peter out. Implied volatility dropped as the price began to move through the trading range through which it's been in the past couple of days. Nothing too much to say there. Let's go to PayPal. I looked at PayPal too the other day, and I ended up putting a bullish price target. Price dropped, came back up. We could be forming pipe tops here. Candlestick chart patterns are great. You got to be careful though, because you're going to need to get a confirmation close above or below the pattern before we can put a price target down. Seeing the RSI flex down like that at 60 isn't great. It's really not. The MACD still seems to be pulling higher though. Tech stocks are looking good. PayPal looks fine to me so far. I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Just a quick little update. AMC and GameStop are having a hard time. We're starting to top out, it feels like. Starting to top out. Maybe we got one more ump in the market before we see bearish reversal. And I'm just holding on to my Playboy stock. Happy trading.